Hello, friends. My name is Janine, and I am a clairaudient and a clairvoyant I've recently discovered. And even more recently discovered, I'm also a trance channel. But I would like to give you a little background, a little history. For those of you who don't know me, I've actually been a counselor for almost 40 years now. And I don't know, 20 some years ago, I realized that I was watching way too much news, and I decided it was just making me physically sick, so I decided to turn off the news and just start meditating every day and journaling out all my feelings to all love, to Source, to God, to Abba, to whatever is the prime creator of all of us. And to my surprise, I started hearing an incredibly loving, gentle, guiding, educational response that felt like my own personal therapist. And I ended up putting many of those messages into a book entitled Your Indelible Worth. But that's ended up being just the beginning. And here, gosh, as time has progressed, I started hearing from other benevolent beings of love and light, and started hearing and seeing visions, just countless visions that have been amazing and miraculous, and all the while trying to make sense of it, because there's really no one in my world that is experiencing the kinds of things I've been experiencing. So here recently I decided to take a trance channel class to just try to make sense of it with somebody who's more accustomed to some of the experiences I've been having. And just completely unexpectedly for me, every time I sat to trance channel, another being of the highest light, and I'm going to give you more details, more benevolent beings just keep coming through to me. And it is mind-boggling, miraculous, exciting, and a little bit unnerving, and just it's rocking my world. And I go back and forth between the excitement of it all to the disbelief that how can this be, and then trying to figure out who's ready for me to share this sort of thing with. And in fact, I think it's for my entire career as a therapist, I've always visualized myself as sort of someone who has a flashlight and who has gone just a little bit ahead on the journey to help shine the light for the others. So essentially it's been because I've been so focused on all of my own emotional work, and gone to countless trainings over all of these years. And in every training I've gone to, I do my own emotional clearing just to see what it feels like and to be able to clear myself all the more. So from that perspective, I feel like I have a little flashlight, so I can just help shine the light a little bit further along the way for whoever is coming to join me as they're trying to heal and remember who they are as well. So it just dawned on me, that's what I'm here and would like to do for those of you who are aware that we are on a journey, or at least starting to get aware that we are on a journey literally to remember who we are. And I believe it was Marianne Williamson who said that our greatest fear is of our divinity, of the greatness that we are. And I did not get that until here recently, when I started to discover, by going inward, by doing the emotional clearing within, that I am part of the oneness, that each one of us is part of the oneness, that there is physical, concrete, not really physical, but divinity, that each one of us is divinity, and we are all on this journey to remembering the source that we never left, the truth of who we really are. And it is surprisingly frightening to let yourself be your authentic divine self in a world where we're set up to deny that very thing for the experience of it all. There's so much to go into. I've just been flooded with insights and inspiration and hope. There is so much hope. So I think I'm ready to begin to shine the light for some others, as I am just a little bit, a few steps maybe ahead of some, many steps behind many others, but figuring this out. I may have some others joining me, whether it's on Spotify on this podcast or on YouTube, which I'm hoping to get up the courage to begin sharing videos on as well. So this is a ride. I'm trying to decide the best place to start. And honestly, what occurred to me as I sat here and just breathed was that many years ago, I will tell you what I have affectionately come to call Source or God for me is love itself. Because every time I hear it speak, it always says, I am who I am, I need no name. So for me, it's love itself. And one of the very first things I learned from love was just a practice, which I use the acronym CAMA. And it starts like this. So the C is just come into my presence. So for me to acknowledge that there is a presence of love here for us, and that is greatly expanded. It is love itself. It is our source. And it is also angels, higher benevolent beings of all types we can't even comprehend. There is love that waits for us. Jesus, all the masters of all religions, I believe, there is abundant love that waits for us, that is here, really actually around us all the time. So to come into the awareness of that presence is where we start, to acknowledge it. And then the O is to open our hearts. And that's the challenge, to learn to notice, is my heart open to be receptive to receive the love that's here, or is it closed? I had a recent experience, well, just yesterday, I just had this true sense that my heart was just blocked all day. Once you start to live in this awareness, it's really hard to tolerate feeling when you're blocked. So I'll give you some guidance of what I learned from that. So in allowing myself to go in and do some healing work for myself, I started to notice, okay, there, my heart's open again. I can receive, I can connect again. So to be intentional about letting your hearts be open. The next one is M, make space. Make space to consider that you are worthy of joining and being in union with this field of pure love, with all of the beings of love that are here for you. And then merge, C-O-M-M, merge. Allow yourself to merge into this field of pure love. And I've got a lot more to share about all of this, but it's a starting place for us to let ourselves, and really I think that's what happens in the remembering, is that we start to let our vibrations rise. We release the density of this kind of game of separation, and realize that we can merge with this higher frequency of pure love that is always here for us. And the joy of that is the A, accept. Accept that whatever it is that you desire as you enter this field, as you acknowledge you are one with this field, accept that it will come to pass. That's the mystery for so many of us that I've been trying to come into a better understanding of for all these years that I've been trying to learn to live in the messages I've been receiving. I was given a vision many, many years ago. It's just returned to me. These visions come kind of in between being awake and being asleep, in the middle, and kind of in the midst of a deep meditative rest. And they are just so vivid. This one actually I awoke to, and it was this beautiful, sparkling, diamond-like heart that, and then I hear love itself speak. And the message that I heard as I see this diamond sparkling in front of me, this heart just shimmering, was, whatever you ask in my name and in union with me, wholly trusting in the power of our union, then it shall come to pass. I was stunned and in shock when I awoke to that. And I can't believe I'm only now just recalling it. What I'm recognizing is that all of these messages I've been getting steadily for so many years now, I'm getting visions to go with it, and now I'm hearing from other beings as well as love itself and Jesus, more depth that's helping me to understand that this is the time for us to unpack all of these messages, for us to begin to realize that as we allow ourselves to join with this field of pure love, what I've been recently told, by some, is called the harmonic resonance field. That came through in a channeling that I was just practicing, and I had it explained to me that the more we allow ourselves to release and release and release, the more we come up into this harmonic resonance field where pure benevolent love abides. And it's in that space where, like I heard love itself say so many years ago, whatever you ask, whatever you allow yourself to envision and you wholly trust, it will come to pass. So we are moving gradually out of this whole experience of separation and this whole experience of lack and suffering as we learn to merge into this field of pure love. It's mind-boggling. I was trying to explain this to a friend, saying, I can't get my head around it. And she, in her wisdom, said, well, it's mystical. How can you get your head around something that's mystical? And the reality is we're learning to move from the ego mind into a whole new way of being that doesn't need to involve most of what we've been using with the ego mind and the analytical judging mind. So it's not something to get that head around because it can't comprehend something so magical and freeing and liberating. So let us just come into considering that there is more love here. There are more beings of love than we can possibly comprehend. And this love that is here is a love that we can't comprehend because we tend to judge love by our human experiences. I don't think we can grasp what unconditional love is really like. So can we just consider it's there? Can we consider that we're remembering that we are part of it? that we are one with this divine. So there's just so much to share with you. I think I'm going to go back. I just opened, this is what I tend to do. I tend to just open my journal, open the book, ask love itself, where would you have me start? What would you have me share? I've discovered that with the trance channeling. Trance channeling, by the way, means you sit and, okay, so I go into a deep meditative state where I just let go of all the ego stuff, let go of the sense of the body, let go of the sense of time. And I kind of, for me, I've had people, a friend ask, how do you feel safe in what you're receiving? For me, I have two gatekeepers. My gatekeeper is love itself and Jesus. And they have reassured me over and over, you don't need to worry, we've got this. So I kind of allow myself to envision that I'm sitting up on a little tree branch with Jesus sitting next to me, helping me to let go. Because when I've been meditating for the past 20 years, that's what I'm hearing anyway, is let go, let go. And then I invite whatever benevolent being of love that my gatekeepers feel is right for me and humanity at this time. And that's pretty much been my approach so far. And I think as I share these messages that I'm receiving, I think I'm just going to keep that approach. What do you feel is for the highest good for me and for all of humanity to hear at this point? So what happens in with trance channeling is I step back. I'm learning to step back further and further. Sometimes what's coming through we'll even say we ask our channel to step back a little more because I really got to get my ego out of the way. And then what wants to come through, what love is inviting through, just starts speaking through me. And frequently, what I've learned to do is to have a partner with me to help invite those questions and to hold a sacred, loving space for that exchange and conversation, which has been fabulous. So you'll be hearing partners engaging with me as I'm trance channeling, as I get up the nerve to share what's been coming through me. So that was a side note. I wanted to share a vision of hope for all of you that I've been given. I think if you've been listening on Spotify for some time, I've shared some of the visions already, some hopes, some visions of angels coming in and messages that this kind of like the barrier is being released and we are entering a space where we can communicate openly with all love beyond the veil of separation. And I sure as anything have been experiencing the reality of that. I think it's important for me to share it with you to help me accept the reality of this. So one really powerful vision I received more recently that I've not shared is that as I sat to meditate, I asked love, I asked my guides, which I used to think was crazy woo-woo, what people have guides, but turns out we all have guides. We have angels, we have protectors, we have guides, we have our higher self. What's happening for humanity at this time? And the vision that came was very interesting, and it was a vision of this tiny little sparkling crystal being set on a leaf and moved into the ear. And I was so perplexed by that and wasn't sure what that meant. And I kept asking, can you explain that? That one's, got me really fuzzy. Usually when I get a vision, I know I'm also given a knowing right away of what something means. This time I didn't get the knowing. I just saw the vision. But later that day, I tend to listen to some of the work of Dolores Cannon, who was a hypnotherapist of types. If you can look her up, you'll find more about her therapy. But she would get people into very, very deep hypnotic trances. And it seemed as though it was their higher selves or source that began to relay through her, through these individuals that she was working with, what would be happening within that person, and what has happened through their lives, and what is happening in this time in particular. So it was that very day that I happened upon that, and what was explained is that the frequencies that are coming in, the solar frequencies that are coming in, are igniting the inner crystals in the inner ear, and kind of like turning on or opening up the pineal glands within us, which is really I think, I'm not an expert in all of this, but this is what I'm piecing together. The pineal gland is what is, connected with our third eye, and as that opens, we begin to have more seeing, more understanding, more connection beyond the veil of separation. So at other times, when I've asked for confirmation, I have some guide who is fabulous with creating these visuals for me. I've gotten to the point where sometimes I can communicate at the same time with them and say, like, this is a little blurry, can you clear that up for me? Or it's upside down, and literally the vision will turn right side up. So it's kind of cool how that happens. So I had asked at one point, when I was seeing visions of codes turning on, like golden codes within us turning on, I remember noting it and going, oh, it looks like there's ancient codes within us that are lighting up or turning on. And instantly the next vision came was this just giant smiling orangutan, which has shown up a couple times to affirm, yes, you got it, that's what's happening. It kind of cracks me up. There's whoever, is it my higher self? I don't know, but they've got a sense of humor. So when I asked for confirmation about this, I got the big smiling orangutan, which is kind of funny. So a vision that came here just in the last couple weeks, as I'm coming to understand all of this and what's happening, is that first it was of me just soaking in the sun, and the knowing that we can either allow ourselves to soak in this love that is pouring through in these solar flares and frequencies. We can allow ourselves to just soak it in and receive, which, by the way, I'm coming to understand, that's when we're noticing ringing in the ears. Sometimes that's a good sign that that's what's coming in. These frequencies are coming in. For me and my husband, many others I've talked to, 3 a.m. If you find yourself wired, just suddenly, instantly awake, it's a good sign. That's these frequencies coming in. So just open yourself to receive it. Because the other vision I received was saran wrap all the way around the third eye. There's another option. You can be closed to it. You can just close yourself off like saran wrap and not receive it, and you don't have to. You can stay right where you are, and that's okay too. So there's a lot in a nutshell. So this is all hopeful, though. We are being given this great assist. There is suddenly something shifting. I know astrologers talk about how all the planets and everything is lining up. Something is happening that is allowing the resonance of the frequency of the earth and all of us to clear more of the old density and rise up into this field of pure love, this harmonic resonance field. So can we just be open? Can we allow ourselves to receive? Can we be hopeful? Now, a little caveat to this. This is a big caveat. As we're on this journey of remembering that can be sometimes fabulous and magical and delightful, it can also really stink, right? To put it nicely. And I'm coming to see it as like we hit potholes of kind of toxic crap along the way. And we have to clean up, we have to let ourselves release the toxic crap that's in there from our systems, from the whole energetic system of the whole collective, and patch it up, and patch it up with love, with compassion, so that we can open our hearts again and keep moving forward and remembering who we are. I just yesterday had an interesting experience with a client who just pretty much no-showed on me, and I had gone through so much effort to be available despite the craziness in my own day. So it was just really, really frustrating for me, and yet I knew it wasn't about me, but I had a hard time getting past it. And the whole next day, which was yesterday, I ended up feeling this just heaviness in my heart, this closeness. I'm like, what is this? Why is this hanging on? And I finally had to sit down and use some of the techniques I have learned over the years to just really hone in to the physical feeling in my body, and where have I felt the worst of this feeling. It pulled up some really amazingly painful feeling memories from my previous marriage, which was the feeling memories were like probably 30 years ago, where I had felt dismissed, disregarded, I'm not valued for my time, for my talents. It's amazing how these wounds stay within us until we allow ourselves to go in and to feel them. I needed to cry. I needed to rage. I wrote out a rageful letter, and then I cut it up into tiny, tiny little pieces. And in my mind, I'm saying I'm just cutting up all the toxic crap, right? I've long since found peace and forgiveness with my former husband, but this bit had to be attended to. I needed to honor the grief. I needed to lean into it. I needed to rage. I needed to cut all that into tiny little pieces. And then the most ironic thing was that I had a dream that felt like it went on forever last night, where I had picked up a little baby girl, which I'm now realizing must have been me, and I needed to change her diaper, and it was just so full of poop. I felt like I was cleaning this little baby up for an hour. And I couldn't figure out at first what that meant. And then, after I'd been awake for an hour, oh, right, of course, I'm just cleaning up all the toxic poop from myself, from my inner child, right? And I'm loving her now and letting her know I got you, and I'm not going to dismiss you anymore. I'm not going to disregard you, which hence is why I'm here for all of you as well. So we all have potholes, and to allow ourselves to lovingly attend to those, to go to the pain, is what helps us to clear them and to allow all that density to release. I heard for quite some time Jesus repeating, that whole thing he used to say, you can't put new wine into old wineskins. We have to let go of the old wineskins. We have to let go of the old patterns, all the old belief systems, everything we thought we knew, we have to let go of, because none of it is how the field of love, pure love, the harmonic resonance field, that's what we've learned does not work in the harmonic resonance field. We're learning a whole new way of being. So when you feel your heart close, you got to let yourself go inward and see where that's coming from, and what healing I need to do for me so I can clean out that pothole, patch it up with love, and keep moving forward with an open heart. I'm going to check and see. Yeah, I think I covered the things I wanted to talk with you about today. There's great hope. This is exciting, even though the world feels like it's falling apart. It's potholes. Those are potholes it's toxic crap, right? That is being brought to the light so that we can clean it up. And every bit we do inwardly for ourselves, because this is all a field of energy, the more that we attend to ourselves with love, the more we will be able to, and I've had this here explained to me in channelings recently, the more there's just this resonance that others will start to resonate or mirror with us. So we don't need to focus on the fixing. That's the old way, the ego. We don't want to focus on the resistance, because that just creates more of the same. What you resist persists. We want to focus on allowing ourselves to clear the crap of the potholes and tune into this higher frequency of pure love. That's what's going to make more of a difference for everyone. So that's where we are. I, to close, just thought, well, I'll open up Your Indelible Worth. You can find it easily on Audible or Amazon. I put exercises in this also to help ourselves clear and receive the messages in here. And I just thought, well, I'll open and see what message love has for all of us in this time. And you know what? I opened it. There's 2 pages. I'm going to read the one I did not read yet. I think it's even more fitting. Here we go. Welcome home, my child, back into your natural state, where the pressures and expectations of your mind fall off you. Can you feel the sweet release of life complete in me? The expectations of the world, the separated state, no longer hold power over you. You now remember you are free. Welcome back into the joy of your true being. Nothing truly has happened. You have simply allowed yourself to reunite with me, with your awareness of our union. Your job is only to be and extend the love that you are, and celebrate the bliss of your return to love. As soon as you revert to the messages of the ego mind, the separated state, then do you disconnect yourself from the bliss of our union. You are only love. In that are you in everything and everywhere with me. In that can you allow yourself to receive and experience all that you desire, to immerse yourself within. For in our union is all called forth. That's where we're headed. That's where we're learning to live. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining me, for your sending your love and support as I move through my own potholes to keep sharing. I'm so grateful that you're here with me, and I'm so excited to share this journey with you.